right, Ben Bateman here, Black Hollywood Live. It is an honor and a privilege to meet John C. McGinley. This is, I was a kid, my brother gave me a VHS copy of Point Break, and it has stuck with me my whole life as a movie fan, so I've been waiting for this day. Talk to me a little bit about what Comic-Con is like for somebody who has been in as many amazing films as yourself.
Comic-Con's a concentrated event that happens in a desperately finite period of time. So in other words, we've been here for a couple hours this morning. We'll be here until 8 o'clock tonight or so, and then you're done. So you get to be present for 10 hours or so, talk about something you love and hopefully you're proud of, Stand Against Evil Season 2. And I think that's a piece of cake. Those who bemoan this labor, they're not familiar with being unemployed.
Okay.
Because the only time you're at Comic-Cons is if you're employed.
Right.
You're not here if you're unemployed. And so it's nice to have a job that you're proud of to be able to talk about. And that's not lost on me.
What do you think the marriage between horror and comedy, like why is it so prominent in projects like this? I mean, that's what makes this show so great.
I think it's because that format has been largely underserved. And the reason it's been underserved and underexplored is because it's almost impossible. And what I mean is, there's two extreme ends of that spectrum of horror and comedy. And so if the comedy extreme with a horror element is Scooby-Doo, where Scooby-Doo is funny, but the monsters are jackasses.
Yeah, sure.
And then the other extreme would be The Exorcist,
right,
where it's the scariest thing in history of the planet, but you damn sure can't break a joke.
Right.
Even though Lee J. Cobb has a couple of funny lines, there's not that much funny in The Exorcist.
Yeah.
So to occupy that middle ground and to straddle those two tones is almost impossible. So John Landis did it perfectly in American Werewolf in London, and my friend Bruce Campbell does it well on his show. And so we're trying to occupy some of that real estate. But it's hard, because if you denudor the monster in order to crack a joke at the monster's expense, the monster's not scary.
Right.
And if this monster's so scary that you can't keep your wits about you, then it's not funny.
Yeah.
And so what Dana does with Stand Against Evil is he's managed to straddle those two tones.
I'm going to say that I've heard a great actor never forgets his lines. Any chance you can complete this line for me?
Oh, God.
You know nothing. You know less than nothing. In fact...
If you even knew that you knew nothing, that'd be something, but you don't.
Amazing! You just made my life. That's unbelievable. Taking back to that time a little bit, the first film you were ever in won Best Picture in Platoon. It was your first feature film, right?
The first film I was ever in was Sweet Liberty, that Alan Alda directed with Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Caine out in the Hamptons. That was a good gig. And then I did Another World for a couple of years out in Brooklyn. And then Platoon was on again, off again for about 2.5 years. It was in Mexico, and then it was scuttled, and then it was beginning to be in Mexico again, and then it was scuttled. The financing kept falling out. And then we were to go to the Philippines and do it, and there was a revolution where Ferdinand Marcos had lost an election, but he wouldn't leave. And so a woman named Coria Aquino was the president. And we were postponed for 6 months, and finally we went and shot it. And I was there for 4 months, because I don't die.
Right.
And because Oliver shot it in sequence, as your character died, you left.
Oh, cool.
And so by the end of it, there's 4 of us or 5 of us, and it was the most intense experience of my life.
So that happening so early in your career, do you think it gave you the confidence to stick it out? Because you really started acting on film and TV in your late 20s, right?
Sure, I got at NYU in '84, so I was 24. So yeah, 24.
Yeah, you think it gave you the confidence to...
And off-Broadway plays, and then a soap. And in retrospect, it feels like this really organized ascent into doing films, from being a part of Joe Papp's Shakespeare Festival and going out to Brooklyn and doing Another World for all those years, and then getting small parts in films. And then Oliver gave me Platoon, and everything kind of was launched after that.
I was having a conversation with Gary Cole at the SAG Awards last year, and I mentioned that... Yeah, well, you said the nicest things about you. I said, John's...
Both have special needs children.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. He told me that you're one of the most intense dramatic actors that he knows, even though you play comedy so well and you're so prominent. Is there anybody that you feel the same way about? A comedy actor who's just, like, tough as nails dramatically?
Johnny Cusack can turn a joke as well as anyone on the planet, but he also is one of the best dramatic actors on the planet when he wants to, and so I would put John way up there.
Amazing. John, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Cheers.
Congratulations.
All the best, you guys.